Hello everyone and welcome to my BNB Metro official channel. The bold and the beautiful spoilers, happy ending. Bridget happily held up the DNA test results, making everyone burst into tears of joy. Scene 1, Spencer Mansion, a day of dread. Morning sunlight poured through the tall windows of Bill Spencer's grand mansion, but the mood inside was anything but bright. The family had gathered once again, Bill, Liam, Wyatt, Will, and Luna, all waiting for Dr. Bridget Forrester to arrive with the final DNA results. After months of accusations, heartbreak, and lies, everything came down to this. Luna sat on the sofa, clutching her hands, whispering to herself. Please let it be Will. Bill stood by the fireplace, his arms crossed tightly, his usual confidence dulled by exhaustion. Whatever happens, he said quietly, we face it as a family. Will, pale and silent, looked at her. Luna. I just need to know. No matter what the paper says, I have to know where I stand. Luna's eyes filled with tears. You'll always be a part of me, Will. Always. Before anyone could say another word, the doorbell rang. Bill exhaled sharply. That's her. Bridget arrives with the envelope. When Bridget Forrester entered, the entire room seemed to hold its breath. She looked calm, almost peaceful, holding a crisp white envelope in her hands. Good morning, she said softly. I know this has been hard on everyone. But today, we'll have the truth. Bill stepped forward. Are you sure this time, Bridget? No interference, no tampering, no ridge pulling strings? She nodded firmly. Everything was redone in a secure, independent lab. No Forrester, no Spencer influence. Just the facts. Luna rose to her feet, trembling. Please, just tell us. Bridget hesitated, then said, I'll read it when everyone's ready. Will spoke up, his voice quiet but steady. I'm ready. So was everyone else. Bridget carefully broke the seal, unfolded the papers, and looked down at the results, then back up at them with tears in her eyes. The moment of truth. The test shows, Bridget began, her voice catching, that Will Spencer is the baby's father. For a heartbeat, no one moved. The world seemed to stop. Then Luna gasped, a sob breaking free from her chest as she covered her face with her hands. Oh my God. Bill blinked in disbelief. Say that again, he demanded, though his voice was trembling. Bridget smiled through tears. Will is the father. 99.9% confirmed. Will stumbled forward, laughing and crying at the same time. It's true. Luna, it's really true? She nodded, crying harder. Yes, Will. It's you. It's always been you. He pulled her into his arms as everyone around them burst into applause and tears of joy. Bill, who had stood frozen, finally let out a deep breath and actually laughed, a sound no one had heard from him in months. Finally, he said, shaking his head, finally something in this family went right. Joy and redemption. The tension that had haunted the mansion for months dissolved into warmth and relief. Wyatt handed around glasses of champagne. I think this calls for a Spencer-style celebration. Liam grinned. Make that 2 bottles. Bill clapped Will on the shoulder, pride radiating from his every word. Son, I don't think I've ever been prouder of you. You stood strong when the world doubted you. You proved what it means to be a Spencer. Will laughed shakily, still holding Luna. I couldn't have done it without her. She never gave up on me. Luna looked up at him, eyes glistening. I knew the truth would come out. I knew love would win. Bridget smiled softly at the scene before her, a room once filled with accusation and heartbreak now filled with joy. I'm just happy I could finally bring peace, she said. Bill turned to her, his tone surprisingly gentle. You did more than that, Bridget. You gave this family hope again. A toast to family. Later, as laughter filled the air, Bill raised his glass. To truth, he said. To second chances. And to the next generation of Spencers. Everyone cheered. Will placed his hand over Luna's stomach. To our little one, he added softly. Luna smiled through her tears. To our family. Bridget's gaze softened as she watched them, a reminder that even in the stormiest families, healing was possible. But she wasn't done. There's something else you should all know, she said, stepping forward again. There was a reason for the confusion, and you all deserve to understand. The explanation. The room quieted. Bridget took a deep breath. When the first test came back months ago, there was a data entry error. A mislabeled sample, something that should never happen, but it did. And I take full responsibility. Bill frowned. So Will was always the father? Yes, Bridget confirmed. The initial result showing a different match was wrong. I found the error during an internal audit, which is why I asked for a retest. That's what caused all the chaos. Luna's tears returned, this time out of sheer relief. So it wasn't tampered with? It wasn't Ridge or anyone else? Bridget shook her head. No manipulation. Just human error, and I'm truly sorry for what that cost all of you. Bill nodded slowly. You did the right thing by coming forward. Bridget smiled faintly. Sometimes doing the right thing takes a few wrong turns first. Rebuilding trust. As the afternoon sun bathed the room in gold, Luna and Will sat together, hands entwined. I thought I'd lost you, Luna whispered. Will shook his head. You couldn't lose me if you tried. This baby, it's our new beginning. Bill watched them quietly from across the room, a rare softness in his eyes. For so long, his family had been defined by chaos, rivalries, betrayals, and heartbreak. But now, looking at his son and Luna, he saw something new, peace. Liam walked up beside him. You did good, Dad. Bill chuckled. For once, I didn't have to destroy anyone to fix it. Feels strange. Wyatt smirked. Don't get used to it. They all laughed, for the first time in what felt like forever. The family comes together. Later that evening, Brooke, Hope, and Steffi arrived at the mansion after hearing the news. When Brooke saw Bridget, she immediately hugged her daughter. Oh, sweetheart, you've made so many people happy today. Bridget smiled. It feels good to finally give this family some joy. Hope beamed at Luna. I told you everything would work out. Steffi added warmly, you and Will are going to make amazing parents. Luna blushed. Thank you. That means a lot. Even Brooke, once skeptical of Luna, took her hands and said softly, you fought for the truth, dear. That takes strength. Bill, overhearing, nodded approvingly. She's got more courage than most people I know. For a brief, perfect moment, the Forresters and Spencers, two families forever tangled in drama, stood together, united in joy. Bridget's happy tears. As laughter echoed around her, Bridget stepped outside onto the terrace for a quiet breath of air. The evening sky was painted in gold and pink, and for the first time in years, she felt completely at peace. Bill followed her out, holding 2 glasses of champagne. You deserve one of these, he said, handing her a glass. She smiled. I think we all do. He studied her for a moment. You know, Bridget, I've seen you heal a lot of people in your time. But today, you healed this family. Bridget blinked back tears. That's all I ever wanted. They clinked glasses and turned to watch Luna and Will through the window, laughing, surrounded by family. The happy ending. Inside, Will knelt down beside Luna, his hand on her belly. I can't wait to meet our little one, he whispered. She smiled. They'll have your strength, and your heart. Bill walked over, his voice soft for once. You two deserve every bit of happiness. I'll make sure that baby has everything, love, security, and a legacy. Luna looked up at him, touched. Thank you, Bill. For believing in us. He smiled. Don't thank me yet. Wait until I start spoiling that grandbaby rotten. Everyone laughed again, the sound of peace after a storm. And as Bridget re-entered the room, holding the DNA papers one last time, she lifted them high and said with a joyous smile, "Here it is, everyone, proof that love, honesty, and family still win in the end." Tears filled every eye in the room. Luna hugged her. Will kissed her cheek. Bill placed his arm around both of them, his voice thick with emotion. "Family," he said softly. "That's what it's all about." The camera panned to the glowing family, smiles, laughter, and happy tears filling the Spencer mansion at last. Death or escape? Will Luna survive? Luna's ultimate defeat and reign of terror ends. B&B shocker. The sleek corridors of Forrester Creations had never felt colder. The once bubbly Luna Nozawa, the girl who had captured Will Spencer's heart and charmed the Forresters, was now the center of chaos and whispers. What began as love had spiraled into obsession, secrets, and betrayal. A week earlier, Luna's breakdown at the fashion show stunned everyone, screaming accusations, tearing apart sketches, blaming the Forresters for ruining her life. Security had been called. The footage went viral. Now she was missing. Steffi Forrester slammed her phone down in her office. She's been gone for 48 hours. Police have an APB out, but no one's seen her. Across from her, Ridge rubbed his forehead. She's unstable, Steffi. And dangerous. If she's desperate enough, she could hurt herself, or worse, someone else. Steffi swallowed hard. I just want this nightmare over. Bill Spencer's mansion, guilt and fear. At the Spencer mansion, Will Spencer stared out at the storm rolling across the hills. His father stood behind him, silent. Dad, Will whispered, she wasn't always like this. Bill's jaw tightened. Son, she lied, manipulated, nearly destroyed our family. That's not love. That's control. Will turned. But I loved her. And part of me still does. Bill sighed. Love doesn't mean you follow someone into madness. You're a Spencer, you stand your ground. A knock at the door interrupted them. Liam entered, phone in hand. They found her car near the cliffs at Malibu. The door was open. Her purse was inside. Bill's expression darkened. Then this might already be over. Malibu cliffs, the edge of the end. Rain hammered the cliffs as flashing police lights painted the rocks red and blue. Officers searched the shoreline while Steffi and Ridge arrived, escorted by Finn, who was coordinating the rescue effort. She's somewhere near here, Finn said. Her footprints stopped near the edge. Steffi hugged herself, shivering. Oh my God. Luna. Suddenly, a voice echoed from above. Stop. Everyone turned. At the very top of the cliff stood Luna, drenched, eyes wild with despair. Don't come any closer. She shouted. I've lost everything, my family, my future, my baby. Finn raised his hands carefully. Luna, listen to me. You're not alone. She laughed bitterly. That's the problem, Finn, I am alone. I tried to love, and everyone turned on me. Ridge stepped forward. You hurt people, Luna. But it's not too late to make things right. The confession. Rain poured harder, blurring the world around them. Luna's voice broke through the storm. You all think I'm some villain, but you never understood what they did to me. The Forresters took my designs, my ideas, my dreams. Bill promised me security, but he turned his back when I needed him. Steffi called out, you don't have to end it like this. Luna's hand shook. I can't face prison. I can't face the shame. Will's voice suddenly cut through the rain, soft, broken, pleading. Then face me. Everyone turned. Will was there, soaked and shaking, staring up at her. Luna, please. Don't do this. Don't leave me like this. Her face crumpled. Will. He climbed closer, ignoring the slick mud beneath his shoes. I don't care what's happened. I don't care what you've done. I just want you safe. Tears streamed down her face. I hurt you. I lied. I know, Will said. But I still believe there's good in you. Let me help you find it again. Death or escape. A crack of thunder ripped through the sky. The ground beneath Luna shifted. Will, stay back. Finn yelled. Luna's foot slipped, a scream tearing from her throat as the edge began to crumble. Without thinking, Will lunged forward, grabbing her arm just as she fell. Hold on, he shouted. Rain and mud made their grip weak. Luna's fingers slipped through his. I can't, she cried. You can, he yelled back. You're not dying today. Below them, waves crashed violently against jagged rocks. Ridge and Finn rushed forward, trying to reach Will. Pull her up. Ridge yelled. Will gritted his teeth, straining. Luna, please, help me. Her eyes locked on his. I don't deserve this. You deserve a second chance. For a split second, it looked like she'd let go, but with one final burst of strength, Will pulled her up over the ledge. They collapsed onto the ground, gasping and crying as officers rushed in. Finn knelt beside them, checking Luna's pulse. She's alive. Steffi let out a sob of relief. Ridge closed his eyes, whispering, thank God. Redemption in the rain. Hours later, Luna sat wrapped in a blanket in the back of an ambulance, shivering. Her eyes were distant, haunted. Will stood nearby, soaked to the bone. Bill approached, his usual arrogance stripped away. She's stable? He asked Finn. Finn nodded. Physically, yes. Emotionally, she needs help. Will turned to his father. She's not evil, Dad. She's broken. Bill's jaw softened. Maybe. But broken people can still destroy others. Will's voice trembled. She saved me once. I wasn't going to let her die. Bill studied his son, then nodded. You did the right thing. Luna looked up at Will from the ambulance, tears streaming. Why did you come for me? He smiled sadly. Because even when you gave up on yourself, I didn't. The final goodbye. Days later, Luna was moved to a rehabilitation center outside Los Angeles. Will visited her one last time before leaving for college. She sat by the window, sunlight on her face, a faint smile replacing the emptiness that once filled her eyes. Hey, he said softly. Hey, she whispered. They're saying I'll be here a while. He nodded. Take all the time you need. Get better. She looked at him, eyes full of gratitude and regret. I don't know if I can ever make up for what I did. Will took her hand. Then start by forgiving yourself. The rest will follow. Luna smiled faintly. You still believe in happy endings, don't you? He chuckled. Someone has to. They sat in silence for a moment. Then he leaned down and kissed her forehead. Goodbye, Luna. Goodbye, Will. As he walked away, Luna closed her eyes, whispering to herself, maybe I'll find peace after all. Aftermath and hope. At Forrester Creations, Steffi read a news headline on her tablet. Luna Nozawa placed in recovery program after cliff rescue, Spencer family praises rehabilitation over retribution. Ridge entered, placing a hand on her shoulder. Maybe this is how it ends, not with revenge, but redemption. Steffi smiled faintly. For once, Dad, I'll take that ending. Across town, Bill poured himself a drink on his balcony, watching the sunset. Death or escape, he murmured. Guess she chose both. Will appeared beside him. She's alive, Dad. That's what matters. Bill looked at him and nodded. And maybe, that's the first good thing this family's seen in a long time. They clinked glasses, father and son, while the sun dipped low over Los Angeles, a quiet promise that even in the chaos of love, loss, and scandal, mercy still had a place.